One of the best things that you can do for yourself in this life is stop living in shame, right? Stop regretting things you've done. Stop being ashamed of anything you've done. What another person says about the choices you made in your life should not affect you, because you should be okay with the choices you made. Even if they was bad choices, right? They could have been horrible choices, but at that time, you did exactly what you wanted to do, right? And that's okay, right? We all make mistakes. What makes you a good person, what makes you a better person, what sets you apart from the rest is when you can stand in your truth and say, yes, I did that. I was wrong, but I'm not doing that kind of stuff no more. I know better now. I'm going to go forward and I'm going to do the right thing from now on, right? Because as long as you holding on to that shame in the inside of you, you allowing the enemy to enter you, right? As long as you trying to keep secrets and you don't want other people to know the things that you've done in the past because you don't want to be judged, or the things that you doing now, right? The more that you do that, the worse it's going to get. All you're doing is opening up the door for the enemy to use you, right? Now you telling lies, right? Now you hurting other people. Now you manipulating situations, all because you don't want the truth to come out, right? I've been there, right? And I know once you lift that off your back, you will soar, right? You will soar. When it was time for me to do blood tests and find out, my baby almost 10 years old, to find out the truth about who her daddy really was, it was scary. It was hard. I was low-key worried about what people was going to say, what people was going to think. But you think I cared about what people was going to think about 19-year-old me, right? 19-year-old me made mistakes. 19-year-old me made bad choices that I was afraid to fix. But once I got with God, the strength of knowing that God had already forgiven me, so it didn't matter what nobody else thought. What I had to do at this point was the right thing for my child. Because no, people opinions of me don't matter. But what my baby needed to know was who she was, who her daddy was, and where she really came from. So what everybody else was going to think or feel, it didn't matter, because I knew God had already forgiven me. And the only person that I needed to forgive me was her, right? The only person that I needed to make amends with was the blessing that God had given me, right? So if you want to lift that weight off your back, right? It is about that shame, right? You might have been this person, you might have been that person, you might be doing this, you might be doing that, but guess what? The people who love you, they're gonna love you no matter what, right? Because they're gonna understand. They done made mistakes too. They probably will sit you down and tell you about theirs, right? It's the people who are still harboring their own shame. It's the people who don't want to talk about their own past who gonna judge you. You know why? Because they ain't got nothing else to do. And if they pointing the finger at you, then nobody's pointing the finger at them. So don't be ashamed of anything that you've been through, right? Release that shame so you can live the life that God has for you. Walk forward with Christ, right? Knowing that if you living in your truth, right, it's nothing that nobody else can say or do to come against you. You will be able to brush that offense off. You won't be things that you see on the internet won't offend you, right? Because these people don't know you, right? They ain't talking about you, but people get on the internet and argue with folks about stuff they saying about their opinions because of the shame that's inside of them, right? That's why you have to release that stuff. You have to release that. Be okay with the choices you made. You made them. You made them. At that moment when you did exactly what you wanted to do, right? You made the choices that you felt like was best for you. So be woman enough or man enough to own them decisions, own them choices, and then walk forward in your life, right? Walk forward in your life with no weights on your back, because the people who actually love you, they're gonna love you regardless. That's what love is. The people who judge you and turn against you, they never loved you in the first place. And guess what that's doing? Doing you a favor. That's doing you a favor, getting the fake people out your life, right? I love y'all.